pancreas is full, that's when you are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And so the first thing they always prescribe is insulin. I get a lot of notifications here while I'm doing the live, so if my finger's in the way, I apologize. So once this is full, then you're a type 2 diabetic, or you're pre-diabetic. This is why the Western diet is killing us. All right, I'm not that good of a writer here, but all right. Anyway. All right, probably spelled that wrong. But anyway, once your pancreas is full, hey, let me know what city and state you're coming in from. If you know any diabetics, please share this with them. Tag them. I'm going to explain in a minute why the ketogenic diet is the best diet for diabetics and why intermittent fasting is so important for diabetics. You can actually defeat the symptoms of diabetes using the ketogenic diet. My father, who's 70 years old, been on insulin for over 10 years, been diabetic for over 10 years. He's 70 and he just got off all of his medication by utilizing the ketogenic diet and some other stuff some supplements that we use. So once your pancreas and your liver's full, because you're eating the carbs and sugar, right? It comes down here, overflows to here, which is your pancreas. I've covered that up. But this fills up eventually with diet and sugar and so forth. Next, the only place that it has to go next is your bloodstream. Once it goes into your bloodstream and it gets full, right? Your bloodstream, same thing. Your body gets full of sugar. And what they do is they give you insulin. And the insulin, all the insulin does is instead of it going into your bloodstream, it pushes it back into your body. I didn't know this till just recently, didn't I? If you go ahead and Dr. Fung is the guy's name. He's amazing. He was a liver doctor, kidney doctor. I think it's I don't know the name of it, but that's what he did. He did dialysis and so forth. And so he's talking about how the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting will help defeat the symptoms of diabetes. I'm not going to say what he says because I'm not a doctor. Only thing I know is that I was insulin dependent for over 10 years. I lost the front of my right foot due to an amputation a year ago because of diabetic ulcers. And I'm going to explain to you in a second how those diabetic ulcers happen and what happens to the diabetic, why they're gaining weight, why they can't stop gaining weight. Hey, Andrew. So once you fill up your pancreas with carbs and sugar, which causes a fatty liver, which causes a fatty pancreas, which causes type 2 diabetes or becoming pre-diabetic, the only place for that Western diet over years and years of eating McDonald's and Burger King and carbs and pizza and, hey Andrew, and sugar and candy bars and sodas. It's terrible what we put into our body. And I was the worst. I was addicted to 5-6 candy bars a day, sodas, yogurts, full fat, not full fat, but full sugar, low fat. I thought low fat was the way to go. Like I've been told, the calories in, calories out, which is all not true. Ketogenic diet is the best diet I believe, for the human. And so once the bloodstream and the body's full of sugar, there's nowhere else for it to go. And insulin, an increase of insulin is a medical fact that when you increase insulin, you increase your weight. So as all diabetics know, that just like me, I weighed almost 265 pounds at that time, was that the more insulin shots I took, the heavier I got. And I couldn't get the weight off no matter what you do. And so here's the thing. Insulin will increase weight. And then you just perpetuate the disease. The longer you're on insulin, the more weight you gain, the more fat you get in your liver, the more fat you get in your pancreas, and it's a progressive disease. That's why I lost my foot. That's why a lot of us have relatives that lost legs, that Because what happens is once you have all this sugar in your body begins to rot. It's a fact. That's why you get diabetic ulcers. That's why they do amputations. That's why they increase insulin and medication. But here's the solution. And I'm going to give you the solution. All you have to do is take that away. We're trying to cure a dietary disease with medication. That's it. We're trying to cure. So remember that. You might want to write it down. We're trying to cure a dietary disease with medication. So once you get rid of that, take rid of that. And I say use the ketogenic diet. High fat, low carbs, and intermittent fasting. And this is why that it works. So once you get rid of this up here, when you have a high insulin, you gain weight. When you decrease your insulin, you lose weight. That's a medical fact. So once you start removing this stuff, right, with ketogenic diet, now you're not ingesting carbs and sugar anymore. You're actually lowering your insulin. Just like, you know, when you go to sleep at night, if you're a diabetic, you go to sleep and you get up in the morning. Exactly. And you get up in the morning and your blood sugar is low and you have to eat something because you feel shaky. That happened to me every morning. That's because when you intermittent fast, you lower your insulin. And when you consistently lower your insulin, you will lose weight. So once we stop feeding our body carbs and sugars, pretty soon with intermittent fasting, your liver will clear, your fatty liver will clear up. The first thing happens is it goes backwards. So I did it wrong. So first thing is your body isn't producing insulin and pumping insulin all the time. The next thing you know, you don't have to give yourself insulin shots. And you automatically, naturally start to lose weight by low carb to no carb, high fat, satisfies your hunger, right? Now we eliminated this. Once we do that, we eliminate the sugar out of the body. You catching what I'm cooking here? And then once that's clear, the pancreas is no longer having problems. Your body is amazing how it will heal itself. It's incredible. Let me tell you, I've defeated the symptoms of diabetes in 1 year. I went from 260 pounds down to 152. My body was actually rotting and eating itself. I lost the front of my right foot. That's a good question, Andrew. Probably what most people should do is they should eat in an 8-hour window and fast for 16. But what we're doing today on the Western diet is we used to, in the 70s, we used to eat 3 meals a day. And then we would fast. And there wasn't the weight problem that there is today. But today, with all the diets, they talk about eating several times a day and the Western diet. And you got to have a certain amount of carbs to survive. That's not true. That's not true. When you ingest low carb, high fat, your body adjusts. Now you probably want to take a vitamin or whatever and some electrolytes and lots of water, but once you remove the sugar out of your body, it removes to the pancreas. Now you don't have a fatty liver anymore, right? And this goes away, and now you are, for me, no medication, no meds. No meds. The other thing that's happened is because I had diabetes, I had heart problems. Because I had heart problems, I had high blood sugar problems. I was taking metformin, glipizide, insulin 4 or 5, 6 times a day. I was taking high blood pressure. I was taking cholesterol medicine. All the things that they tell you that you have to take. It's like it's a snowball. You need heart medication because you have too much blood, you have too much sugar in your blood, and it's rotting you, and it's causing heart problems, and it's causing high blood sugar problems, and it's causing emotional problems because your blood sugar is doing this. So here's the deal. When you eat carbs and sugar, or you eat anything, your insulin rises. It spikes. Depending on what you eat is how high it'll spike. So if you eat a lot of carbs and sugars, you're just loading your liver up with fat and you're loading your pancreas up, which will eventually go into your body. If you keep eating the Western diet consistently, hey Chris, hey, that's Dr. Chris. Is what I'm saying true, Dr. Chris? He'll know. So what, your liver just keeps getting fat. So the more insulin spikes that you have, the more weight you're going to gain. You decrease insulin, medical fat, you're going to lose weight. That's just the way it is. So the ketogenic diet is the way to go. So no meds, no, I'm not on any medication, no heart medication, nothing. And I did that utilizing the ketogenic diet. You can defeat diabetes with the ketogenic lifestyle and intermittent fasting. And why intermittent fasting works is because when you fast, you don't take in sugar, you don't take in anything, it'll lower your insulin. Because when you sleep at night, you wake up in the morning, your insulin is lower. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it. No. So type 1 diabetics are completely different than type 2. Type 2 is a dietary disease. Type 1 diabetics do not produce insulin. So they have a tendency to lose weight because they have low insulin. And that's why they take insulin shots. Type 2 diabetics, that's a great question, because type 2 diabetics are the ones that it's a dietary disease. You're actually, here's the problem. You are digging your grave with every bite. Every spoonful, you're digging your grave when you eat a high sugar Western diet with high fructose corn syrup. Everything has high fructose corn syrup. And the problem with high fructose corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, say that 3 times. The problem with that is it metabolizes like sugar, but in your liver, it metabolizes like alcohol. So you get 37% more fatty liver. And I learned this from Dr. Fung, the diabetes code, that once it'll metabolize 37% more. So it's better. If you ask me what's better, sugar or high fructose corn syrup, I would say sugar, because you'll get diabetes eventually, but you won't get it as fast as you do with high fructose corn syrup. That's in everything. So I hope this has been helpful. And the one thing, if you just did one or the other, if you just started intermittent fasting, right? I don't think that you're going to be curing diabetes, but I promise you this, you will be on less insulin. Just intermittent fasting. But if you combine the ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting, then you have the possibility of getting off your medication, or, and I say possibility, depends on you, getting off your medication or lowering it significantly. Like I said, my dad's been diabetic for over 20 years. Last month, they took him off his insulin, and he's only taking metformin, and he was taking a lot like I was. No meds after, Douglas, you are awesome. No meds, they're right here. If you're a diabetic and you have lowered or got off your meds completely, give me a testimonial in the comments. That would be great. If you're on replay, watch replay. I'd like you to do this. If you know any diabetics that should know me, if you know somebody that should know me, tag them in the comments. Follow me in my lives up above. Share this with them. What is keto? Keto is high fat, medium proteins, and very, very low carbs. And what that does is it puts your body in a state of called ketosis, where you're burning fat versus sugar. And that is a good thing, because once you burn fat, you were designed to burn fat. We weren't designed to burn high carbs, sugar. We weren't. And what happens is you have more of a mental focus. You naturally lose weight. It's an amazing diet. You can go ahead and YouTube what is keto, what is the ketogenic diet, what is ketosis. Would be great. Hey, Ian, what's going on? Wow. Doctor, hey, Chris, we need to connect after this live, maybe next week. I'd like to speak to you. But anyway, yes, it is an amazing, amazing diet. It really is. My dad, my friends, on and on and on. I got good friends right now that is on an insulin pump. He started. So for the people who are still on the live, I want to challenge